We see how bad the wildfires are in California, and it's certainly one of many issues that we're seeing on the regular. Sea level rise is a nightmare here in South Florida. What are some of the things that you're experiencing in your neck of the woods?
So Ireland might have a reputation, like it's a green country, has a bit of a reputation for rainy days, but those rainy days are getting less and less. We are getting warmer and wetter winters, and warmer and drier summers. So this is where it ties into us working with the goats. So their base is in Mayo, Mulranny, their breeding program, but they have now a group of them, a herd of 25, got a job in Howth as conservation grazers. So Howth is a little suburb adjoining Dublin City, which is the capital in Ireland. It's only 14 kilometres from the city centre. It's a peninsula surrounded by the sea, but yet it's a very dry heathland, and it it's at risk of wildfires, and these fires are increasing as we get warmer and drier summers. We actually had our first wildfire only 2 days ago, which is very early for the fire season, as they call it. That to me is still a whole new concept. I did not think Ireland would be dealing with fire seasons in that sense as paramount as it is now. So the goats have a job here as conservation grazers. That's their new job. They started that here in September, and it's a 3-year pilot program. And with that, we are increasing the numbers to make sure that they can do the job well. The site itself, it's about 10 kilometers squared. Howth itself, it's a suburban place. There's a lot of people living here. It's also a destination. So being so close to the capital city, a lot of people like to come visit here. So with that influx of extra people, there's also more risk of fires just from littering or antisocial behavior or cigarette butts or barbecues. Yeah. So there's a big impact on the fact that it's become a more popular place as well.
How do you find your government is in terms of its response to climate crisis and things that it's supportive of? Like, do you feel like, I mean, I think of it all like sticks and carrots to some extent, like, and in this country, we generally tend to reward bad behavior and not the good behavior. And we don't incentivize the right things. Like right now, we're taking away our reason in Florida to have solar. They're actually they're disincentivizing solar, which is ridiculous because we're the sunshine state. So how do you feel like in Ireland that your government handles this kind of, like, are they subsidizing the right industries? Are they taking the right, course of action? And what are they doing to address this?
So in terms of the project here in Howth, I'm working with the Old Irish Goat Society that's based in Mayo, but then we're also collaborating with Fingal County Council, which would be the local county council responsible for this area. And they have taken the initiative to look at alternative ways to manage the habitat and the environment here. And they've looked at projects in Spain where they use goats for fire prevention grazing. And like that, they are open and willing to look at alternative kind of environmentally friendly systems to combat this problem. So instead of going in, previously they have gone in with mechanical means to create fire breaks or sprays, herbicides to control growth. But now they're looking at how to put in place a long-term plan that's a lot more environmentally friendly. It's sustainable. It makes ecological sense. And it's a lovely addition to the landscape here, and especially with its proximity to the city. So it's an eye opener for the local people and the city people as well. So they're taking that new initiative in that sense, and it's a pioneering project.
That's amazing. And I'm just trying to wrap my head around it from like our perspective. Is this something that would be happening at a state level, or is it almost sounds like local? But like at every level that we have here, there are so many barriers to being able to do something like that. Like I'm very envious. Do you not see like what we're dealing with? We just had a local election here where the two people that were fighting to investigate why a building fell into an ocean lost their seats on the city commission to big developers that want to basically turn our entire coast into a giant wall of buildings of concrete. And yet they're facilitating this entire organic approach to addressing climate crisis.
Well, they say that you can't just introduce a new species into an environment that's not native to it. But
no, yeah.
Would there be a way potentially to introduce these goats to parts of California that could probably benefit from sort of a pilot test to see if something like this would ultimately be effective.
Yeah. And like that, it doesn't have to be the old Irish goat. It's whatever goat is most suited to the Californian climate. And it being a warmer place, you're probably looking at a more long-eared goat, like a Nubian or the Boer. And they're more suited to those climate conditions. Yeah.
That's really. How did you get into this? How did you get into, doing goat herding? I mean, obviously, you know a lot about the environmental impact of it. So, I mean, you seem to come at this from a more of a scientific perspective versus, growing up on a goat farm.
Well, it's great that I bring that message across, but it is the fact that I grew up on the goat farm, and that I'm kind of self-trained in my trade in some way. So like that, this is a whole new concept, even for Ireland and for Dublin. They advertised for the job of a goat herder, and I did not think they would ever advertise that there ever be an option to get a job as a goat herder in the country. I grew up on a family farm in the west of the country, but with that, I kept goats and learned my tricks of the trade in the burn, walking around with my own herd. So. And have been a goat farmer for many years, a dairy goat farmer mainly. Apart from that, I did study veterinary nursing, so I was a vet nurse, and then this job came available, and I just thought, oh my God, how are they going to put goats into Dublin, close to Dublin? So, but when I came to look at the site here, Howth itself, it's beautiful. It has the elevated rocky climbs, the heathland, the scrub, no green fields. So this is ideal goat country.
So your goats are happy. Like these are happy goats, right? Like they're living their best lives. And so when you do dairy, and this is something that freaks me out about the dairy industry here, like we see videos of cow gives birth, baby is taken away, mother of cow is like running around crying for her baby. And that's the cow that's producing our milk. And like, that just freaks me out. So I would suspect that that's not how you do things.
No, so my system, like that, everything has its place. Nature has its place and has reasons for it. So work with it, not against it. So these goats that I'm working with now, they will be rearing their own kids for 6-7 months, and they will be weaned naturally as they join the herd and numbers increase. Their job, male or female, is as a conservation grazer here in Howth, and in return for the linked up to the breeding program, the females will be part of the breeding program, and the males, if they become a stud sire, great. If they don't, they're still a conservation grazer. So they all have a role to play. My own history with my own goats, like that, they would have had their kids, they would have reared their kids for 3 months. Once their kids were reared, they'd done their job. Then they'd milk for my own business side in that sense. So like that, it's not all year round supply. But you work with the best and you give everyone their share.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.